Ever notice how some people seem to read a room before they even enter it? They catch the micro-expressions others miss. They sense tension nobody else feels. They know when someone's lying before a word is spoken. Psychology reveals something fascinating. This isn't a gift people are born with. It's a skill forged in childhood, often through hardship most would rather forget. Research in developmental psychology and neuroscience shows that children who faced emotional turbulence early in life develop a hyper-awareness that stays with them into adulthood. Their brains literally rewired to detect danger, decode emotions, and predict behavior at extraordinary speeds. In this video, you'll discover 7 psychological patterns that explain why a difficult childhood creates adults with almost supernatural social intelligence. Stay till the end. The final insight reveals why this ability comes with a hidden cost most people never talk about. Children who grow up in unpredictable environments develop what psychologists call hypervigilance, a constant state of environmental scanning. When a child never knows if they'll come home to warmth or chaos, their nervous system adapts. The brain's amygdala, responsible for threat detection, becomes overdeveloped. Neural pathways dedicated to reading facial expressions, body language, and vocal tone strengthen dramatically. Here's what this means in adulthood. While most people process social cues consciously, those with difficult childhoods do it automatically. Their brains scan for emotional data the way a security system monitors for motion. They notice the slight hesitation before someone answers, the tension in crossed arms, the forced quality of a smile. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition refined through years of necessity. If you find yourself reading people within seconds of meeting them, it's because your brain learned early that survival meant staying one step ahead of everyone's emotional state. Studies on emotional intelligence reveal something counterintuitive. Children who experience complex emotional situations develop more sophisticated emotional vocabularies than their peers. When a child navigates anger, sadness, guilt, and fear all before breakfast, they become fluent in emotional nuance. Most adults struggle to name emotions beyond happy, sad, or angry, but those who endure childhood difficulty can distinguish between resentment and disappointment, between anxiety and anticipation, between loneliness and solitude. This granular understanding translates to incredible interpersonal accuracy. They don't just sense that someone's upset. They know exactly what kind of upset, what likely caused it, and what might happen next. Research in effective neuroscience shows this skill creates mental models of human behavior far more complex than average. If you can name 15 different types of sadness, you've been trained by experience most people never face. Psychologist Paul Ekman's research on microexpressions facial movements lasting less than a second reveals that most people miss them entirely. But here's the thing. Children in unstable homes can't afford to miss them. A father's jaw tightening, a mother's eyes narrowing. These split-second signals mean the difference between safety and danger. Neuroscience shows repeated exposure to threatening stimuli creates what's called threat-related attentional bias. The brain becomes exquisitely tuned to detect negative emotional signals, even when they're suppressed or hidden. As adults, this manifests as an uncanny ability to know when someone's lying, hiding something, or about to lose control, even when that person thinks they're maintaining perfect composure. While others take people at face value, those with difficult childhoods see the truth beneath the performance. The brain learned long ago that the real message isn't in the words, it's in the millisecond flicker of expression before the mask goes back up. Behavioral psychology introduces the concept of baseline behavior, how someone acts when they're relaxed and genuine. Most people never consciously track this, but those who grew up managing volatile personalities became experts at it without trying. They automatically note how someone usually talks, gestures, and carries themselves. Then they detect deviations instantly. When someone who normally makes eye contact suddenly doesn't, they notice. When someone who's usually animated becomes subdued, alarm bells ring. This skill comes from years of monitoring caregivers for mood shifts. The child who learned that dad's posture change meant an explosion was coming becomes the adult who senses a colleague's stress before anyone else. Studies in social cognition confirm this. Early adversity creates pattern recognition systems optimized for predicting human behavior. If you immediately know when something's off with someone, it's because your database of human patterns runs deeper than most. Research in auditory processing reveals fascinating findings about those who experience childhood instability. Their brains process paralinguistic cues: tone, pitch, rhythm, volume with heightened sensitivity. They hear what's not being said. A voice that's slightly too cheerful signals forced positivity. A vocal fry betrays insecurity. A rushed pace reveals anxiety. Most people focus on content, what someone says, but those trained by difficult childhoods focus on delivery, how it's said. The child who learned to gauge safety by whether a parent's voice carried tension or warmth becomes the adult who can detect dishonesty through subtle vocal inconsistencies. Neuroscience shows this isn't mystical. It's enhanced auditory discrimination developed through repetitive pattern exposure. If you find yourself trusting someone's tone over their words, it's because experience taught you the voice reveals truth, the mouth conceals. Here's something deeper. Children who navigate complex family dynamics develop advanced theories of mind, the ability to understand others' mental states, motivations, and intentions. When survival depends on predicting what someone wants before they know they want it, the brain builds sophisticated models of human motivation. Psychology calls this mentalization, and research shows early adversity can actually enhance it. These individuals don't just observe behavior. They reverse engineer the psychological needs driving it. They understand that aggression often masks fear, that control-seeking reveals vulnerability, that people-pleasing hides resentment. While most adults take behavior at surface value, those with difficult pasts see the emotional architecture underneath. They map the invisible landscape of needs, fears, and wounds that make people do what they do. If you find yourself understanding why people act certain ways, even when they don't understand themselves, it's because your brain learned early to solve the puzzle of human behavior for survival. Neuroscience research on interoception awareness of internal body states shows something remarkable. Those who experience childhood stress develop heightened sensitivity, not just to their own emotional states, but to the collective emotional atmosphere of spaces and groups. They walk into a room and immediately feel the tension nobody's acknowledging. They sense the unspoken conflict in a friendly conversation. They detect the anxiety humming beneath a calm surface. This isn't supernatural. It's acute sensitivity to social cues most people process subconsciously. Rapid breathing, subtle posture shifts, micro movements that signal stress, all detected and integrated into an instant atmospheric read. The child who needed to assess household emotional safety the moment they walk through the door becomes the adult who senses group dynamics with startling accuracy. Studies show this ability combines visual, auditory, and even olfactory processing of stress signals. If you know a room's emotional temperature before anyone speaks, your nervous system is doing what it was trained to do. But here's what most people miss, and what research on hypervigilance consistently reveals. This extraordinary social intelligence comes with a price. The same brain that reads people instantly also struggles to turn off. Every social interaction involves processing hundreds of signals simultaneously. What feels automatic still requires enormous cognitive resources. Psychology identifies this as cognitive load, and for those with difficult childhoods, social situations carry double or triple the load of typical interactions. They're not just having a conversation, they're tracking facial expressions, analyzing vocal patterns, monitoring body language, predicting reactions, and managing their own responses all at once. This explains why people with this ability often feel drained after social events others find energizing. Their brain never learned there's an off switch for threat detection. The gift of reading people comes packaged with the burden of never being able to unsee what they see. If social situations exhaust you despite your skill in navigating them, it's because your brain is working overtime in ways others' brains simply don't. These patterns reveal something profound. What looks like exceptional social intelligence is actually the residue of adaptation. Children who faced uncertainty, volatility, or emotional complexity didn't choose to develop these skills, they had to. Their brains reorganized around a simple mandate: understand people to stay safe. But here's the reframe psychology offers. These aren't scars, they're superpowers with asterisks. The ability to read people, decode hidden emotions, predict behavior, and sense atmospheric shifts makes someone invaluable in relationships, leadership, negotiation, and any field requiring human understanding. Yes, it's exhausting. Yes, it comes from pain nobody should have experienced. But it's also real, valuable, and rare. If you recognize yourself in these patterns, understand this. Your difficult childhood didn't just leave you with wounds. It left you with abilities most people will never develop. The same nervous system that kept you safe then now gives you insight others miss. That's not damage, that's transformation. If this resonated, subscribe for weekly psychology insights that help you understand yourself and others at a deeper level. Next week, we're exploring why highly intelligent people often feel lonely and what neuroscience reveals about the social isolation that comes with an active mind. Your past shaped you, but it doesn't define your future, it equipped you for it.